Do they not know that when they legitimize the atrocities of Israel against the Palestinians, that it might be them who one day will suffer from the same atrocities? And if this happens, what would they expect the world's response to be? Well, if the world would respond in the same manner that they're responding, it would tell them to stop resisting their oppressors and occupiers and let them get on with their job smoothly. It would also ask them to get rid of their government and label it as a terrorist, albeit democratic, for standing up against occupation. It would tell them that their government, that they chose, is not serving them, that a foreign occupying force knows what's best for them, no matter how long they have been living in that land and how short-lived that occupier's existence was. The world would tell them that they will lose houses, families and loved ones, hospitals, bakeries and markets, and call it collateral damage. The world would not raise an eyebrow if hundreds are killed in one hospital airstrike. They will use fabricated images to put the blame on them. You can have a press conference surrounded by dozens of bodies, but the world wouldn't show it. People don't need to see such images after all. The world would call capital punishments such as cutting off water, electricity, gas and communication on civilian population an act of self-defense instead of a war crime. After all, why should people have access to basic life necessities when they have a government that dares to say no to a wonderful occupation, let alone attack it? If 50,000 innocent civilians are killed by deliberate airstrikes, the world would also blame the people and their government. Because after all, they hide rockets in children's rooms. And because they do so, children and infants, whether newborn, 1, 2, 5 or 6-year-olds, are legitimate targets. Never mind the images of the dead babies, whole families under the rubble, pregnant women dying. The world won't publish them because people don't need to see them. It would affect their mental health. The hospitals would be blamed for allowing cancer wards to be resistance hubs. If airstrikes land and demolish the whole hospital, the blame would land on the people and their government. Again, in fact, the world would show a made-up 3D video that the occupiers' military produced to prove there are military command bases under the hospital's reception. And don't dare ask for sympathy from anyone, please. The world would go and visit your occupier, tell them that they have their backs, legitimize everything that they do and support them with all the weapons that they need to bomb the living daylight out of all of you. Because the occupier told them that you're subhuman and the world believed them. After a while, the world might ask the occupier to pause. A humanitarian pause, but not for the reasons you're thinking of. Because after all, pilots get tired after dropping 12,000 tons worth of bombs on people and they need a break. But the war can continue for as long as needs be, so that the occupation and its settlers can enjoy security and prosperity, so that their settlers can continue to steal lands. After all, they believe that they're God's chosen people and that He gave them that land, so who are we to argue with that? I mean, people can deny the existence of God altogether. As a matter of fact, the occupier's main visionary was an atheist. So was its first state founder, and even its current leader. But when it comes to God's promise, we must all believe it and never question it. Even if the religious people who follow the same religion as the occupier totally disagree because their holy book doesn't say so. That doesn't matter. And if you deny that fact and any other core fact, such as the occupier's right to self-defense, the occupier's right for comfort, the occupier's right for relaxation, or any other core facts not mentioned in this statement, the world will immediately label you with the worst type of labeling that has ever existed: anti-sympathetic.